welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
So today, we're digging into just one source, actually, an article from the Economic Times.
Right.
And our mission, really, is to unpack what it tells us about something brand new. Canada appointing its very first Minister of Artificial Intelligence and Digital Innovation.
Yeah, quite a title.
Exactly. We want to figure out, who this is, what the job really involves, and I guess why now?
It definitely feels significant. A signal.
It does. It feels like a real moment, maybe showing how a G7 country is, well, try to get ahead of the digital future.
And the article suggests it's about strategic priority. It gives us a pretty clear window into the government's thinking here.
Okay, so let's jump in. The main news. Evan Solomon is the person tapped for this pioneering role. The article says he was sworn in May 13th, 2025. That was at Rideau Hall in Ottawa.
And the article's update is May 25th, so this is all very current.
Very current. And giving AI its own cabinet spot, well, it feels like a very formal step, doesn't it?
Right.
Trying to shape this whole era.
It does, and the article gives us the why. It mentions Prime Minister Mark Carney creating this ministry specifically to position Canada as a global leader in AI.
Right, that commitment.
Yeah, underlining that commitment.
Which kind of lines up with the view cited in the source, doesn't it, from the Liberal platform?
It does. The quote is pretty direct.
They see AI as the key to unlocking productivity, higher-paying jobs, and new prosperity that will benefit everyone.
So that's the high-level vision as the source presents it, the driving force.
Seems like it. So, okay, who is Evan Solomon? What does the article tell us about him?
Well, it introduces him as a former journalist and a broadcaster.
Oh.
It mentions his time at CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and CTV, and notes his background was particularly in political journalism.
Interesting.
And he's also relatively new to this side of things, a newly elected member of Parliament for Toronto Centre.
Wow, okay. So from reporting on politics to actually being in it and focusing on AI of all things.
Quite the switch.
The article mentions his communication skills are seen as valuable. Why do you think, based on the source, that background might be relevant here?
Well, the article seems to imply that background is pretty key for a role like this, especially a new one. I mean, think about it. AI policy is, it's complicated. It moves incredibly fast.
Right.
And it touches the economy, privacy, our basic values.
Sure.
So being able to explain these complex things clearly, both to people at home and internationally, that's probably seen as, essential. You need to build understanding, maybe get people on board.
That makes sense. Communication is key.
Yeah.
So, okay, what does this minister actually do? What are the responsibilities the article lays out?
It details quite a range of duties, actually.
Like what?
Things like overseeing AI policy development, actively pushing for AI adoption across industries.
Okay.
And crucially, managing that balance between innovation, pushing things forward, and dealing with privacy and security concerns.
That balance again.
Yes. And there's a regional piece, too. It notes he's responsible for the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario, FEDEV, Southern Ontario, aiming to boost economic growth there specifically.
Okay, that balance between innovation and privacy security that really jumps out. It feels like the core tension everywhere with AI.
It really does.
How does the source kind of emphasize that part of the job?
Well, the source implies it's a major challenge just by listing it as a core duty,
Yeah.
Pushing AI often means using huge amounts of data, complex processing. It touches personal information.
Sure.
But at the same time, making sure privacy is protected, that digital security is solid, that's not just like an optional extra.
Yeah.
It's fundamental for trust.
Public trust. Ethical deployment.
Exactly. So the role itself suggests this isn't easy. It's a constant balancing act, a negotiation.
Yeah, a tough tightrope walk is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Which connects to that quote in the article from Benjamin Bergen.
Ah, yes, president of the Council of Canadian Innovators.
Right. He said the key piece here is we've got this artificial intelligence, but then how do we actually ingest it into our society, not only from a government lens, but also from a private sector lens as well?
Yeah, that quote really nails the challenge, doesn't it? The scope of what they're trying to do based on the article. Canada's got a strong research base in AI. We know that. But the goal, as the source describes it, seems to be moving beyond just research.
To actual use.
Right. Widespread adoption and making sure the economic benefits, actually stay in Canada.
Okay, so what does that involve? Tackling what issues?
Well, the article mentions challenges like keeping valuable IP intellectual property developed there from just, well, leaving.
The brain drain idea, or IP drain.
Sort of, yeah. And addressing talent migration, too, making sure the top AI people actually want to stay and work in Canada.
Got it. And part of keeping the benefits in Canada involves building things, right?
Yeah.
Infrastructure.
Exactly. The article points right to that. A focus on building Canadian-owned AI infrastructure.
Like what specifically?
Things like robust data centers, high-speed communication networks, stuff like that.
And the reason for that? According to the article.
The stated purpose is data sovereignty. Basically, ensuring sensitive Canadian data isn't easily accessed by others because it's stored somewhere else.
Right. Control over your own data.
And also promoting economic independence, building that capacity within Canada itself, addressing those concerns about foreign access.
That seems like a very concrete strategy, tied to national interests. So, okay, putting it all together, the person, this wide-ranging job description policy, privacy, regional growth, and these big national goals around IP, talent, infrastructure, what part of this new ministry's mission, just based on this one article, stands out most to you? It's a lot.
I think it really highlights just how interconnected all these pieces are. You can't really pull them apart easily.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's do a quick recap then, just the key takeaways from our deep dive into this Economic Times piece. We've seen Canada make a, well, historic move, appointing Evan Solomon as the first AI and digital innovation minister. His job covers policy, adoption, that crucial balancing act, innovation versus privacy security, plus boosting Southern Ontario's economy.
Right. A broad mandate.
And the bigger picture goals described are about Canada leading globally, building its own infrastructure for data sovereignty and economic independence, and trying to keep IP and talent at home.
All driven by that view, cited in the source, that AI is key to future prosperity.
Exactly. It is a significant mandate, as you said.
Definitely.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. Something based purely on the themes in this article.
Okay.
Given that dual focus, on one hand, rapidly building Canadian-owned AI infrastructure for data sovereignty, and on the other, that really complex goal of balancing innovation with privacy and security, especially in such a fast-moving field. What inherent trade-offs, what really tough choices might this new ministry have to face as it tries to navigate Canada's digital future?
Yeah, that's the core tension, isn't it? How they navigate that balance will be really fascinating to watch.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
Thank you.
We hope this gives you a clearer picture of this important development, how Canada is trying to, well, harness and shape the future of AI and digital innovation.